In this powerful 8-minute motivational speech, Disappeared for some time, we explore the importance of taking a break, stepping away, and finding strength in solitude. Too often, we fear being forgotten when we disappear, but history has shown that the greatest comebacks happen after moments of silence. Whether you've been struggling, feeling lost, or simply questioning your path, this speech will remind you that disappearing isn't the end. It's the beginning of something greater. Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when you feel like vanishing, not because you're weak, not because you've given up, but because something deep inside you whispers that you need a break. You step away from the noise, from the expectations, from the chaos. And in that silence, you start to wonder, will the world even notice I'm gone? Some disappear by choice, while others are forced into shadows by circumstances. But regardless of why it happens, the experience of stepping away is often misunderstood. People fear being forgotten. They fear losing relevance, and they fear the unknown that comes with solitude. But let me tell you something. Some of the greatest transformations in history happened in the quiet. Think about it. When a seed is planted, it disappears into the soil. It's buried, unseen, forgotten by the world above. But what happens underneath? It takes root, it gathers strength, and when it finally breaks through the surface, it stands tall, unshaken by the winds that once seemed so powerful. Some of you may feel like that seed right now. You've stepped away, you've gone silent, and maybe you're questioning if you'll ever return to the world the way you once did. But here's the truth. Disappearing doesn't mean you've been defeated. It means you're preparing for something greater. In today's world, we're conditioned to believe that if we're not constantly present, constantly achieving, and constantly proving ourselves, we're falling behind. Social media makes us think that if we don't post, we don't exist, that if we take a break, the world will move on without us. But the truth is, stepping away is sometimes the only way to step into our full potential. There's a reason why some of the most brilliant minds in history had moments where they disappeared. They retreated, not to escape, but to evolve. Steve Jobs was once pushed out of Apple, but when he returned, he changed the world. J.K. Rowling was rejected countless times before the world ever heard of Harry Potter. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years behind bars, and yet he walked out stronger, wiser, and more powerful than ever. What do all these stories tell us? That disappearance is not the end of the story. It is a chapter of preparation, of rediscovery, of growth. But let's talk about fear, the fear of being forgotten. This is what stops most people from stepping away when they truly need it. What if no one remembers me? What if everything I built falls apart? What if I lose everything? But ask yourself this. Is your worth determined by your constant presence or by the impact you create when you return? True greatness isn't about being seen all the time. It's about making your presence felt when you do return. And when you come back with wisdom, with strength, with a new perspective that sets you apart from the rest. When a person disappears for some time, people assume things. They think you failed. They think you gave up. But what they don't realize is that you were building something they couldn't see. A stronger mind, a clearer vision, a fire that burns brighter than before. So if you've disappeared, if you've stepped back, if you've taken time to heal, to grow, to reimagine your life, do not apologize for it. Because when you return, you won't just be back. You'll be unstoppable. Conclusion: disappearing is not a sign of weakness. It is the mark of those who dare to evolve. Those who understand that sometimes the greatest progress is made in silence. If you've ever felt lost, if you've ever wondered whether stepping away was a mistake, let me remind you, the world doesn't define you. You define yourself. And when you come back, don't just come back. Come back stronger, wiser, and ready to take on the world in a way they never expected. The fear of disappearing is deeply rooted in our psychology. It's the unsettling anxiety that if we step away from the world, whether from social circles, our careers, or even social media, we'll be forgotten, replaced, or deemed irrelevant. In today's hyperconnected world, where visibility equates to validation, this fear has intensified. People worry that if they stop posting, stop engaging, or take a break, the world will move on without them. But beneath this fear lies a deeper truth. We don't actually fear disappearing. We fear being forgotten. We fear that if we step away, our value will diminish, that everything we work for will crumble, and that we will have to start over from nothing. Think about it. How many times have you hesitated to take a break? Not because you didn't need it, but because you were afraid of what people would think. What if they assume you failed? What if they believe you're no longer capable? What if someone else takes your place? This fear is what keeps people in toxic environments, unhealthy relationships, and exhausting routines. They stay not because they're thriving, but because they are terrified of what might happen if they leave. But here's the paradox. True growth often requires disappearance. Some of the most successful people in history had moments where they stepped away, not to give up, but to evolve. They weren't afraid to disappear because they understood that their worth wasn't tied to constant visibility, but to the impact they would make when they returned. Disappearing isn't about fading into nothingness. It's about stepping into a space where real transformation happens. If you let go of the fear of being forgotten, you gain the freedom to reinvent yourself. And when you return, not if, but when, you will do so with a presence so powerful that the world has to take notice. Why stepping away is necessary. In a world that glorifies hustle, constant engagement, and an always-on mentality, stepping away is often seen as a sign of weakness, failure, or irrelevance. However, the truth is quite the opposite. Taking a step back, whether from work, social obligations, or even personal pursuits, is not only necessary but also essential for growth, clarity, and long-term success. It is in the moments of silence, away from the noise and expectations, that true transformation happens. Many people struggle with the idea of stepping away because of deeply ingrained fears. The fear of being forgotten, the fear of missing out, and the fear of losing momentum. But what if we shift our perspective? What if stepping away is not about losing something, but about gaining something even greater? Let's explore why taking a break is not just beneficial, but necessary for anyone striving for long-term success and fulfillment. 1. Clarity comes in stillness. Life moves fast. We are constantly bombarded with information, responsibilities, and expectations. In the midst of this chaos, it becomes difficult to see things clearly. When we are always in motion, we often react instead of reflect. We make decisions based on pressure rather than purpose. Stepping away allows us to slow down, detach from distractions, and gain clarity about what truly matters. It's like standing back from a painting. When you're too close, you see only the details, but when you step back, the full picture becomes clear. Many people keep pushing forward without pausing, only to realize later that they were heading in the wrong direction all along. Taking a step back gives you the space to evaluate your life, your goals, and your path. It allows you to ask the important questions. Am I doing what truly fulfills me? Am I moving in the right direction? Or am I just following momentum? 2. Avoiding burnout and protecting mental health. One of the biggest dangers of never stepping away is burnout. The pressure to constantly perform, produce, and be present can take a serious toll on mental and emotional well-being. Burnout doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow, creeping exhaustion that builds up over time until it becomes overwhelming. Many high achievers push themselves to the limit, believing that rest is a luxury they cannot afford. But the truth is, rest is not a luxury. It is a necessity. When you are mentally and physically exhausted, your productivity, creativity, and decision-making abilities suffer. You become less effective, not more. Stepping away allows you to recharge. It gives your mind and body the time they need to recover, so that when you return, you are refreshed, focused, and ready to perform at your best. Without breaks, you risk losing your passion and drive, turning what once excited you into something that feels like a burden. 3. Growth happens in shadows. Many people believe that growth happens only in action, but the reality is that some of the most profound growth happens in silence. When you step away, you create space for internal development, self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and new perspectives. Think about nature. A seed doesn't grow when it's exposed to the elements. It grows in the darkness of the soil, hidden from sight. Similarly, some of the most powerful transformations happen when no one is watching. Consider some of the greatest minds in history. Many of them had periods where they disappeared from public view, only to return stronger than ever. Steve Jobs was ousted from Apple, only to come back and revolutionize the company. J.K. Rowling spent years in isolation writing Harry Potter before anyone knew her name. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, but he emerged not broken, but more powerful and influential than ever. These examples prove that disappearing is not a setback. It's a setup for something greater. If you use your time away wisely, you can return as an entirely new version of yourself, equipped with greater knowledge, strength, and wisdom. For the fear of being forgotten is an illusion. One of the biggest reasons people resist stepping away is the fear of being forgotten. In an age where social media rewards constant visibility, there is a subconscious pressure to always stay relevant. The fear is that if you take a break, people will move on and everything you built will fade away. But this fear is largely unfounded. People don't remember you for how often they see you. They remember you for the impact you make. The most respected and influential people in the world are not the ones who are always present, but the ones who show up at the right time with the right message and the right energy. Instead of fearing invisibility, embrace it. Use your time away to build something so powerful that when you return, the world has no choice but to take notice. 5. Creativity flourishes in space. Some of the greatest creative breakthroughs happen when you step away from your work. When your mind is constantly engaged in tasks and responsibilities, it has no room to wander, explore, and innovate. Many artists, writers, musicians, and entrepreneurs have spoken about the power of taking a break to allow new ideas to flow. Albert Einstein often took long walks, letting his mind drift into deep thought, which led to some of his greatest scientific discoveries. Bill Gates famously takes think weeks, where he isolates himself from distractions to read, think, and generate new ideas. If you feel stuck, uninspired, or creatively drained, stepping away can be the reset you need. It allows your subconscious mind to work in the background, making unexpected connections and uncovering fresh insights. 6. Reclaiming control over your life. When you are always in motion, you are often reacting to the world rather than actively shaping your life. You move from task to task, obligation to obligation, without ever pausing to ask, is this truly what I want? Stepping away gives you the power to reclaim control. It allows you to set boundaries, prioritize what truly matters, and make intentional decisions about how you want to move forward. Many people are stuck in cycles they don't even realize they are in, chasing goals that no longer excite them, maintaining relationships that drain them, and holding on to routines that no longer serve them. But when you take a step back, you gain the perspective needed to make real changes. 7. Returning with strength and purpose. The purpose of stepping away is not to disappear forever, but to return with greater clarity, energy, and purpose. When you come back after taking a break, you do so with renewed focus and a sense of direction that you could never achieve by constantly pushing forward. You don't just come back, you come back as a new, evolved version of yourself. You bring with you fresh ideas, renewed motivation, and a perspective that sets you apart. Stepping away is not a weakness. It is a strategy. It is the move of those who understand that real success is not about running endlessly, but about knowing when to pause, reflect, and return stronger than before. Final thoughts. Stepping away is not an act of giving up. It is an act of growth. It is a decision to prioritize clarity over chaos, well-being over burnout, and purpose over pressure. It is a recognition that sometimes the greatest progress is made in the moments of stillness. So if you ever feel the need to step back, don't be afraid. Embrace it. Use it. And when you return, don't just return. Return with power, purpose, and a presence that demands attention. Because the world will not remember you for how often you showed up. It will remember you for the impact you made when you did. Growth in solitude. Solitude is often mistaken for loneliness, but in reality, it is a powerful tool for self-discovery, clarity, and transformation. In a world full of distractions, taking time alone allows you to reflect, grow, and realign with your true purpose. Clarity and self-reflection. Solitude provides a space to ask life's most important questions. Who am I? What do I truly want? Without external noise, you gain a deeper understanding of yourself and your direction. Emotional strength and independence. Spending time alone helps you develop self-sufficiency. Instead of seeking validation from others, you learn to find confidence within yourself, making you emotionally stronger and more resilient. Creativity and innovation. Many of the greatest ideas in history were born in solitude. Free from outside influence, the mind can explore new thoughts, make unexpected connections, and unlock creativity, overcoming challenges, and building resilience. Solitude forces you to face your fears, process emotions, and develop problem-solving skills. Instead of relying on others, you learn to navigate life's challenges on your own, strengthening your inner resilience. Finding purpose and focus. Being alone helps strip away external expectations, allowing you to reconnect with what truly matters to you. With fewer distractions, you can focus deeply on your goals and build self-discipline. The power of recharging. Just as a phone needs to recharge, solitude allows your mind and body to reset. Time alone helps reduce stress, increase mental clarity, and bring renewed energy into your life. Final thoughts. Growth in solitude is about evolution, not isolation. It's a chance to reflect, create, and strengthen your mind. If you embrace it, you will return to the world with greater clarity, confidence, and purpose. History's greatest comebacks. Throughout history, some of the most inspiring figures have faced failure, setbacks, or even complete defeat, only to rise again stronger than before. These comebacks prove that resilience, perseverance, and self-belief can turn even the darkest moments into triumphs. Small Blue Diamond Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela's great comeback. Nelson Mandela's life is one of history's most powerful examples of resilience and perseverance. Imprisoned for 27 years for opposing apartheid in South Africa, he endured harsh conditions, isolation, and immense personal sacrifice. But instead of giving in to bitterness or defeat, Mandela used his time in prison to strengthen his resolve, educate himself, and refine his vision for a united South Africa. When he was finally released in 1990, he didn't seek revenge, he sought reconciliation. His leadership and commitment to peace helped dismantle apartheid, and in 1994, he became South Africa's first black president, leading the nation toward unity and healing. Mandela's comeback teaches us that even in the face of extreme adversity, patience, vision, and unwavering determination can turn oppression into victory. His legacy continues to inspire people worldwide to fight for justice and never give up, no matter how tough the journey. He emerged as a symbol of peace and unity, leading South Africa to democracy and becoming its first black president. Small Blue Diamond Steve Jobs. Fired from Apple, the company he co-founded, Jobs didn't give up. Instead, he built new ventures like Pixar and Next before returning to Apple, revolutionizing technology with the iPhone, iPad, and Mac. Steve Jobs' journey is one of the most iconic comebacks in history. In 1985, he was forced out of Apple, the company he co-founded, after a power struggle with the board. It was a crushing blow, but instead of giving up, Jobs used the setback as fuel for reinvention. He founded Next, a computer company focused on advanced technology, and acquired Pixar, which later revolutionized animation with Toy Story. Meanwhile, Apple struggled without him, and in 1997, they brought him back as CEO. Jobs didn't just save Apple, he transformed it. Under his leadership, Apple introduced groundbreaking innovations like the iMac, iPod, iPhone, and iPad, turning it into one of the most valuable companies in the world. His story proves that failure is not the end. It's often the beginning of something greater. Steve Jobs' resilience, vision, and ability to turn setbacks into success remain an inspiration for entrepreneurs and dreamers worldwide. Small Blue Diamond Thomas Edison. After thousands of failed experiments, he finally invented the light bulb, proving that persistence is key to success. His famous quote, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Thomas Edison's journey to success was built on persistence and resilience. Despite failing over 10,000 times while trying to invent the light bulb, he never saw failure as defeat. Instead, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison faced skepticism, financial struggles, and countless obstacles, but his determination never wavered. His relentless experimentation eventually led to the invention of the practical electric light bulb, which revolutionized the world. Beyond that, he held over 1,000 patents, contributing to innovations like the phonograph and motion picture camera. His story proves that success is not about avoiding failure. It's about learning from it and pushing forward. Edison's resilience and refusal to give up continue to inspire inventors, entrepreneurs, and anyone striving for greatness. Small Blue Diamond Oprah Winfrey, fired from her first TV job. She was told she wasn't fit for television. She went on to become one of the most influential media moguls in the world. Oprah Winfrey's journey from hardship to global success is one of the most inspiring comeback stories in history. Born into poverty in rural Mississippi, she faced numerous struggles, including a difficult childhood marked by adversity. Despite these challenges, she pursued her passion for storytelling and media. Early in her career, Oprah was fired from her first television job as a news anchor because producers said she was unfit for TV. Instead of letting the setback define her, she used it as motivation. She transitioned to hosting a talk show, and soon, The Oprah Winfrey Show became one of the most influential programs in television history. Beyond TV, Oprah built a media empire, became a billionaire, and used her platform to inspire millions. Her comeback proves that rejection is not the end. It's often a redirection to something greater. Through perseverance, authenticity, and unwavering determination, she turned failure into phenomenal success. Small Blue Diamond Michael Jordan. Cut from his high school basketball team, he used failure as fuel, later becoming one of the greatest athletes in history. Michael Jordan, widely regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time, wasn't always seen as a superstar. In high school, he was cut from the varsity basketball team, a moment that could have shattered his confidence. Instead, he used it as fuel to work harder than ever, spending countless hours improving his skills. Jordan eventually earned a spot, dominated in college, and was drafted by the Chicago Bulls in 1984. He became an NBA legend, winning 6 championships, 5 MVP awards, and redefining the sport. However, in 1993, tragedy struck when his father was murdered, leading him to retire from basketball and pursue a career in baseball. Many doubted him, but Jordan once again proved his resilience. In 1995, he made a historic comeback to the NBA, leading the Bulls to another 3 consecutive championships. His story is a testament to perseverance, proving that setbacks are just stepping stones to greater success. His mindset, "I've failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed," continues to inspire athletes, entrepreneurs, and dreamers worldwide. These stories remind us that setbacks are not the end. They are just a setup for an even greater comeback. The key is to keep going, learn from failure, and believe in your ability to rise again. Overcoming the fear of being forgotten. The fear of being forgotten is one of the most profound and universal anxieties that humans face. We all want to leave a mark, to be remembered, to have our lives mean something beyond the present moment. This fear often manifests in different ways. Some people chase fame, others seek validation in relationships, and many worry that once they are gone, their existence will fade into nothingness. But is being remembered the ultimate measure of a meaningful life? And how can we overcome the anxiety that comes with the thought of being forgotten? The answer lies in shifting our focus from seeking external recognition to living a life of purpose, authenticity, and impact, understanding the fear of being forgotten. At its core, the fear of being forgotten is rooted in our deep need for significance. We want to matter to our loved ones, to our communities, to the world. This fear is often linked to our sense of self-worth and identity. We believe that if people forget us, our existence might have been meaningless. However, this fear can be a trap. It can lead us to make decisions based on how we are perceived rather than what truly fulfills us. It can cause us to prioritize external validation over genuine personal growth. When we allow this fear to control us, we may find ourselves chasing attention, desperately clinging to relationships, or feeling constantly dissatisfied with where we are in life. To overcome this fear, we must redefine what it means to be remembered and focus on the deeper aspects of our legacy. Shifting the focus from being remembered to making an impact. Instead of worrying about whether people will remember us, we should focus on the impact we make while we are here. A truly meaningful life isn't measured by how many people know our name after we're gone, but by the positive influence we have on the lives we touch. Think about the teachers, mentors, or friends who change your life. You may not remember every detail about them, but their influence remains within you. In the same way, our contributions to the world, whether big or small, create ripples that extend far beyond our time. Living with purpose means asking, Am I adding value to the lives of others? Am I living authentically, pursuing what truly matters to me? Am I being present in my relationships and making the most of my time? When we shift our focus from being remembered to making a difference, the fear of being forgotten starts to lose its power. The temporary nature of recognition. History shows that even the most famous people are eventually forgotten. There was a time when figures like emperors, kings, and scholars were the most well-known names on earth. Yet today, many of them are just footnotes in history books. Even celebrities and influencers, who seem larger than life today, will eventually fade from public consciousness. Understanding the fleeting nature of recognition can be freeing. Instead of obsessing over legacy, we can focus on the present moment, on making meaningful connections, pursuing passions, and leaving behind something valuable through our actions. True legacy isn't built on fame, but on kindness, contributions, and the way we make others feel. Embracing self-worth beyond external validation. One of the biggest reasons we fear being forgotten is because we tie our self-worth to external recognition. We think, if I'm not remembered, does that mean I didn't matter? But real self-worth comes within, not from the opinions of others. To overcome this fear, we must cultivate an internal sense of fulfillment. This means finding joy in personal growth and learning, engaging in meaningful work, regardless of recognition, building relationships based on genuine connection rather than validation, appreciating the journey of life rather than focusing solely on its outcome. The more we value ourselves without needing outside approval, the less we fear being forgotten. The power of presence, living fully in the moment. Many people spend so much time worrying about how they will be remembered that they forget to truly live. But what if instead of trying to create a lasting impression, we focus on being fully present in each moment? Every conversation, every act of kindness, and every pursuit of passion leaves an imprint on the world. These moments may not be written in history books, but they shape the lives of those around us. By focusing on the now, we give life more meaning. Instead of trying to impress people for the future, we engage with them deeply in the present. And when we live this way, we naturally leave behind something valuable, whether memories in the work we do or in the lives we touch. Practical steps to overcome the fear of being forgotten. If you struggle with the fear of being forgotten, here are some ways to shift your mindset and find peace. 1. Define your own legacy. Your legacy doesn't have to be fame or worldwide recognition. It can be the kindness you show, the values you uphold, and the relationships you nurture. Focus on who you are becoming rather than how others will perceive you. 2. Create meaningful connections. People may not always remember our words, but they remember how we made them feel. Investing in genuine relationships ensures that our presence in others' lives is meaningful, even if it isn't always remembered explicitly. 3. Pursue what fulfills you, rather than chasing recognition. Focus on what brings you joy and fulfillment. Passionate, meaningful work, whether it's art, teaching, entrepreneurship, or helping others, leaves a lasting impact. 4. Practice gratitude for the present. Remind yourself that life is not just about being remembered. It's about being fully alive right now. The more we appreciate the present, the less we worry about the future. 5. Detach from external validation. Understand that you are enough, regardless of recognition. Your worth isn't defined by how many people remember you, but by the love, wisdom, and authenticity you bring to your life. 6. Leave behind something valuable. Even small actions can create a lasting impact. Whether it's writing, mentoring someone, creating art, or simply being a positive influence, your presence will be felt in ways beyond memory. Final thoughts. Finding peace in the impermanence of life. The fear of being forgotten is ultimately a fear of insignificance. But the truth is every life, no matter how big or small, matters. Instead of worrying about how we will be remembered, we should focus on how we live. A meaningful life isn't about fame, recognition, or being etched in history. It's about the love we give, the lessons we share, and the moments we cherish. Even if names fade and memories blur, the energy we put into the world, the kindness, the creativity, the compassion, never truly disappears. The power of your return. A comeback is more than just returning. It's about rising stronger, wiser, and more determined than before. Every setback, failure, or period of isolation prepares you for a greater comeback. When you return after struggle, you bring with you new lessons, resilience, and a refined sense of purpose. The world often underestimates those who step away, but the time spent in growth, reflection, and healing fuels an even more powerful return. Whether in career, relationships, or personal goals, your comeback is your opportunity to prove that setbacks don't define you. Your perseverance does. The true power of your return lies in how you transform your past struggles into future victories.